how the cut in school funding is oddly enough how DJs and stuff came about. Because if you take away music from people, they'll make music on something. And that's actually how they cut in the inner cities. They cut a lot of funding to school things. So it used to be all these kids who played piano and violin, and just wanting to make music on something, they turned to turntables. Yeah, which is and you get the whole history of MC Herc, who absolute genius,
cool.
and Grandmaster Flash. Is also
all right,
genius.
are you rolling?
Sorry.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Awesome.
Editing cut. All good.
You're watching Mission Music's Break with the Band, and I'm Chase Greer, and I'm interviewing the Dead Milkman. Wait,
Hey.
interview.
And we're here as proof that he's interviewing us.
If you do that again, I said interview.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll cut.
You're watching Mission Music's Break with the Band. I'm Chase Greer, and I'm here with the Dead Milkman.
And this is a banana.
So your band name is really unique. Can you tell us?
Unique's a nice way of saying that it's. I feel like an interview. There should be a mic going back and forth. That's a nice way of saying it's a bad idea, isn't it? Like when I say, "Oh, what a really unique outfit you're wearing." So we compliment you on your politeness skills that you've developed already at a young age.
Can you tell us how you came up with it, and were there any previous names?
He's going to lie, because he always lies about the name. The truth is, I claim I know the truth.
Right,
he was reading a book by Toni Morrison called Song of Solomon when we were young. And I remember seeing it
Even
around
before
the
I
house.
knew how to read.
What? Yeah, so
knew
I was
how to
already
read.
embarrassed by the fact he reads. In fact, I could get deported nowadays. Reader, alarms go off. Put him in the bus. And then there's a character in that called Milkman Dead. That's what I
Milkman
claim it
Dead.
was, but he's probably got 10 different stories.
But wasn't there a name before the Dead Milkman?
It was they were the
Sunflower Children of God were
Sunflower Children of God were the original, yeah.
were a band that had members of the Dead Milkmen.
Milkmen, yeah, because they kept changing. They
So it
started
was-
out as a Joe had
It's-
a short story based on a game that him and his friend Garth created. Am I
Well, it
getting
wasn't
this
based
right?
on the game. We had a game that Garth and I made a game where you make up songs and you roll dice and you have cards and
It was
things
based on
happen.
payola. Though. Didn't you have to pay to put it up and down?
You go up to
Yeah.
cards,
We had
right?
Monopoly money, dice,
Yeah.
and some,
Yeah.
and we made a little board, and it was called Billboard Top 100 or Top 200, I forget. And you had to get your song up the chart, and
Now-
depending on what you rolled and what.
Now, this is one of the many
what you
times
got,
I interrupt you,
looked
but the
in a
only
little
other person I've ever
thing.
heard did this was Stephen Hawking. Joe and Stephen Hawking,
Made up
the
a game.
physicist.
No,
the
Steve
theoretical
Jackson
physicist.
made up games.
What?
Steven Jackson made up games.
Well, yeah, well he
like
did, but
Car
he made up like
Wars
Car
and-
Wars and stuff like that. I'm
and
just saying.
Illuminati.
I'm saying
it was similar to those things,
but it was very
our
clever. It was very
game
clever.
of
way
how
ahead
to
of
get
time. And
your
he
song
marketed
up the
it.
charts.
Yeah.
And in that game, you get to make up your own artists, and I made up an artist called Jack Talcum,
Yeah.
and that started in my mind the whole imaginary world of Jack Talcum and what he was like a really bad folk singer.
Now,
But he wanted punk rock was coming along, and he wanted to be in a punk rock band, and he found this band called the Dead Milkmen, and he infiltrated himself into the band and became their lead singer.
now, when you first played though, didn't you have songs like "Joe is the best, Joe is the greatest"? And Garth had songs that were anti-Joe, like "Joe, I hate Joe, Joe must die," and they would
that
race
has
up and
nothing
down
to
the
do
chart.
with the question, or
But
the
this,
story.
I guess that
Yeah,
it boils
it's a
down
very
to
side.
the band. The band actually existed only on paper before the actual band existed.
Right, I even made up a newsletter about Jack Talcum and his Dead Milkmen.
Yeah, I think you should always have like a fake sort of
So
constructed
it
world
existed-
around the band anyway.
It existed even before any actual songs came about.
Wow.
And then some songs came about and recorded them with Garth and with other people, and Rodney heard some of them. But that's how the name came about, is because I needed a name for the band for Jack Talcum to front. And I wanted something that sounded punk, and I knew about the Dead Boys. I didn't know about the Dead Kennedys yet.
Yeah,
I was
I don't think
going
they
to
were
find
around
about.
quite yet.
I was
Well,
going
they
to
sort
find
out in
they were around, but
San
I
Francisco.
didn't
No,
find
wait,
about
yeah, I heard of them.
found out about them until a year later.
Yeah.
Now, after the Dead Kennedys came to my attention, and we started to become a band that we were going to get a show. I thought we should change our name.
So did
to
I.
something else.
I raised my hand that too,
And we did come up with a bunch of different names,
including Husker Du,
which was also already taken.
which was also a game, oddly enough. So we would have been going right back to where we started.
But-
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
When Dean joined the
Yeah.
band, and it was we had maybe a week between when Dean joined the band. We had 2 weeks between when we said Dean was in the band and we had a show, and it was in that period of time that the name stuck with us because
We played that show.
we
as
played
the
that
demo.
show, and Dean. Not only that, Dean spray painted Dead Milkman on his drum cases, and I didn't think he should have to take that off.
It did seem, yeah.
So
I mean,
really
you
you
made
came
the
up
effort, yeah.
And he came on with the logo
Yeah.
shortly after that, and it's really made it.
And the rest is
The rest
history.
is
Can't
history.
change
That's
it.
awesome.
There you go.
I wonder if there were any other bands that like somebody just spray painted something on the side of their band and said, well, it's already there, we might as well be called that. We're called Get Out of Down.
Wasn't the Butthole Surfers? They actually just had a song, Butthole Surfers.
Well, they had
and
one, yeah.
They
For
changed
years.
their name for every show, or something.
No, I think that was a lie they made up. It was the same thing. They said there was the band that had the fake Ed Asner masks and stuff. They did an interview with Maximum Rock and Roll, I think it was, and I think they made up everything that they said in it. They made up all these fake bands, and yeah, which I thought was interesting. I always think that bands should have that. You know, for example, I found out recently the guys in Kiss, they don't look like that. That was makeup. I didn't know. And Peter Criss, not an actual cat, which is weird because he did spray in my home once. I came in the bathroom like, Peter, that's boxes for my cats, not for you, Peter. No.
Oh,
All right.
that's
I don't
cool.
feel good about that joke.
Alright, so you guys have some really awesome and creative songs. And I was wondering, what was the influence for a song like Big Lizard?
Oh, we had a roommate who had an
Yeah,
iguana.
right now I lived in Manioc
Yeah.
at the time, and
Before it was gentrified. We need to point that out, okay? The lizard
Well,
was the
of
closest
course.
we should have gotten an attack dog, but
We were
all we
paying-
could afford was the
we were
lizard.
paying $75 a month. I think it was
Yeah,
the
that's
cheapest
true.
place in Philly you could live.
Yeah.
Or one of them anyway. The guy that moved in to the house, forget
Tom.
his name, Tom. He had a lizard, and it really did get bigger and bigger, and it was.
And he wasn't so good about putting it in its cage.
It didn't. It
Yeah.
roamed around the house.
Yeah, so sometimes you'd be in the living room talking to somebody, oh, wait, there he is. I can't remember what the lizard was called. You just pick him up and take him off the wall.
Right,
Put
he
him, he's an
would-
iguana.
It was an iguana, and it would, like, there's not Venetian blinds, but the wooden kind, or the
Yeah.
Swedish blinds.
maybe they're Swedish. I don't know.
But he would climb up.
He would climb up, and he would just stay in one position
Oh,
for
that's so
hours.
weird.
and just-
Helsinki blinds.
and we're just like, is that real? Yeah, it's real. It'll
And he
move
just-
like.
yeah,
Did he ever get out into
Yeah, all of a
the
sudden you
backyard?
kind of forget about him up there, and all of a sudden he would get a burst of energy and scatter and go after something like a cockroach or something. You're like, oh, he's on the move again. Oh, yeah.
So that's
That's the real inspiration.
That's the real, yeah. There was just, it was just, there he was, and yeah, all of it. I think all songs just come from. Hopefully, they come from stuff you experience in life. Or so I'm really good at when somebody says something, they don't remember what they said, but I remember it. I'm like, oh, that could be a song, and then they're like, I like that song. I'm like, you wrote it.
That's cool. So you guys, you grew up in Philly. It sounds like.
well, surrounding
Yeah.
suburbs.
No,
of
we
the
grew up.
area.
We grew up in Joe and I were in a steel town outside of
Coatesville area.
Yeah.
I was up in Upper Bucks County.
Cool.
Where did you grow up in?
Lower Bucks County.
Yeah.
Lower Middle Bucks County.
And Dave,
We were hoping to one day live in Middle Bucks County.
Well, we've all generally been in this area for a long time.
Cool. So, you give a nod to Philly and South Street a lot in your songs. And how much influence does the area, like from your childhood, have on your music?
Used to have a lot. Now, pretty much none, because there's not any music in Philly anymore. But when we were young, it was really we were going to like shows and and like a weirdo. When you're living outside the city and you're young and weird, and like the first time you go in the weird city, you're like the one weirdo in your town. And then you look in the city and you're like, oh my God, this is like a weirdo convention. And you find, no, it's like this every weekend. You're like, oh, so yeah, it used to, we used to just kind of just be, I guess, soft sell, talking about how they used to see, go into the city for the first time and see lights and stuff like that. I guess it was really dark where soft sell lived. But they would talk about how they were really impressed by the neon stuff. And that's it. When you're in Philly, it used to seem like the whole world just existed at night. I guess we just got there when it got dark, and it was a world. You don't have that in the burbs, but you have a world. So it really did influence us, and we just wanted, again, you write about what you know, so we were just talking about what was going on there.
Well, we lived
Yeah,
in
South Street was where they had Love Hall and a couple other places.
Where some of the punk rock shows
So
used to
punk
be.
rock shows happened there.
Plus,
I
we
was
lived in West Philly
Yeah.
when the Move bombing happened. And
Yeah. So you just constantly and you don't really leave the city much. Back then we never left the city. And again, South Street, you only have one place to go for entertainment, and you would go people watch on South Street.
Yeah.
And that was and people would come out of stores and yell at you. And oh man,
Yeah.
I used to be down there. It was freezing cold.
And this wasn't even the South Street that was the hippie part.
Yeah.
This was South. And
Boarded up stores.
It's
South
really
like
nice
it's
now,
Yeah.
South End Broad, but
Yeah.
South End Broad or South End 13th, there's another club called Bacchanal. We
Yeah.
played a lot there. That was, be careful, watch your back. You could get mugged.
It's
if
where
you're-
the
if you're
really
alone in
expensive
space.
high rise is
This is
now.
before
Yeah,
University
yeah.
of the Arts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Well, yeah. There's also
Well,
super
University of the
expensive
Arts
high
used to
rise
be
there.
called
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Well, wasn't always called University of the Arts. Had some other name. Philadelphia College of Art. PCA.
PCA.
That's what it used to be.
And then right near there
But it was
used to be
still there,
Harry's
it's
Occult
safe
Shop
spot.
and Lady Dale's. God, I love those places. The thing I missed the most, I think, was like Harry's Occult Shop and Lady Dale's. I had such a crush on this girl that worked at Lady Dale's, and she was so spooky.
And Crash Brothers, Store of the
Crash
Stars.
Brothers, Store of the Stars. I used to be on. We used to have roommates that had come out from Salt Lake City when I lived in West Philly, and one of my roommates found them sitting outside of Crash Brothers, which was, you're too young to remember, but please go to YouTube and look at Crash Brothers on South Street. The stores were just horrible. There'd be a guy with an eye patch going, "We'll keep an eye out for you," and I'm like a marble place. It's awful. And they thought it was a punk rock store. Like, they didn't realize. They thought, "Oh, this is really funny. There's velvet paintings of Sammy Davis Jr. and these ugly suits." So they were sitting outside there hoping to meet punks. And then my friend Chuck Meehan comes walking by. He's like, you guys, you don't want to be here, when the sun goes down or whatever, And because this is back when you could get beat up for being a punk. And they're like, "Oh, well, we thought other punks would be here." And I don't know if Chuck ever explained, the whole time those guys were there, if he ever explained what Crass Brothers was to them.
It's
but they
Crass
thought it was
with
like
a
a
K,
band
though,
Crass.
isn't it?
It was with a K, Crass Brothers. And it was crass indeed. But yeah, and the guy who owned it also wrote the commercials. It was seriously. While we do this, I'll search for a Crass Brothers.
Wow. So
You're going to regret this.
the Dead Milkmen, they played some pretty cool gigs in the past, and I was wondering if you have any favorite venues that you've played at.
I like where we played. I actually like the House of Bands that we played a couple months ago, because we got to play that with Youth Code and with Caustic.
It's like an
and
indoor
with a friend of
skate
ours.
park.
Yeah,
It was really
it's
cool.
a giant. But yeah, it just worked out. It was super hot though, and I almost died on stage. But I like that venue. I like the Troc too. I like the Troc. Oh, and I like Laurel Hill. Laurel Hill is the cemetery is my favorite, absolute favorite place to play.
Cool.
Well, I don't know about these guys though. They probably have angry.
Club Metro in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Metro is always good. Yeah.
I think it's still there.
I used to like to when we played the Ritz in New York City back in the day.
What was the place we just played in L.A.?
Oh, the Terragram.
Terragram. I like that a lot
Nice.
too.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good place.
Now that's a newer venue.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to play a lot of nice rooms. So it's cool.
Nice. All right. If you could pick a favorite song to play live, what would it be?
Of our own song or any artist song?
Oh.
Either one.
Oh.
Haven't done it in a while. I'd like to do. I used to like doing Dark Clouds Gather Over Middlemarch. I used to like playing that a lot.
Yeah, we haven't played that.
But it's difficult, and I got to load a lot of stuff. And a lot of Brass Brothers, Store of the Stars.
I'm pretty. I like the newer song that we're
Actually,
playing tonight.
Edison.
Actually, Undertown is one of my.
That is a good
songs.
one.
Oh yeah.
Play that.
Also, Somewhere Over Antarctica is cool.
That's a
too.
good one. I like
Yeah.
that.
Ooh.
Cool.
I don't get tired of playing Smoking Banana Peels. It's just
Yeah.
it's such an active bass line. I just
I like
fun.
playing The Sun Turns My Patio into a Lifeless House.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that's how I stuck it back and said, no, is that true that you
That's
like playing?
fun.
Because
I
I
do
asked
like
him,
playing.
he was on this podcast, and I
like
heard him say
playing.
that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you liked that song so much. And I put it in there.
I like playing it.
And he likes playing it. And then, but I thought, he told me the artist, I just pulled that out of my ass somewhere.
It's the
I was
first
like,
thing that came
oh.
to my head, I know. But it's true. Sometimes the first thing that comes in your head is true.
that's true.
Crazy Eddie act.
So, how about, cover songs? Is there any chance that we'll hear Little Red Corvette tonight?
We
No.
did play that once.
Well, we did, but it was
we have
like a
to-
special occasion because we had done it because so many people had died that when we did the cemetery show, and that's why we did that. And then it was we hung it around for a while, but we tend to we keep moving on. So
That is a fun song. To
it is
play.
a fun song to play. I really do enjoy playing that. But a fun keyboard song to play.
Cool. So the Dead Milkmen have been a staple in the punk rock scene for over 30 years now. Is there anything that you would do differently, knowing what you know now?
Yes, I have a whole list. That's along my arm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I just look back and go, oh, I should have said no to that, or I should have said, yeah. I mean, we've come out pretty unscathed. Still people we still have a lot of our dignity, but there's still a lot of stuff that I would have said, no, we really
Can't
shouldn't
think of
have.
anything specifics. It's just whatever.
I've got a ton. I consider we could do a whole show just me going, oh God, why? Why did we do that? What was I thinking?
You might as well say it.
What?
You might as well say it.
No. Well, I mean, I thought the cigar-shaped rocket ship video was a little goofy, but
The whole video.
there was the cow at the thing. There was the
Nobody knows about the cow.
well.
Well, now we want to.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I was like, don't bring. Every time I say don't do this, something mysteriously still happens. I don't know how. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I literally. There's some bands I'd like to